Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, June 15th through 17th, join the Legion of Celebrities, comic book stars, animators, voice actors, and costume heroes for Denver Comic Con at Colorado Convention Center. Hundreds of dealers and artists, gaming, exciting events. Meet Glenn, Maggie, and Carl from Walking Dead, Will Wheaton, stars from Marvel and DC Comics, Star Wars, Dark Knight Rises, True Blood, Futurama, Fringe, and more. Hotel packages available. Proceeds benefit Comic Book Classroom and after-school literacy and arts program. Proceeds benefit Comic Book Classroom and after-school literacy and arts program. Be a hero this Father's Day and get tickets at DenverComicCon.com.
In Colorado, there is only one place that has the best selection of collectibles: Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics.
For over 27 years, Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics has been the ultimate destination for collectors.
They have a wide selection of hard-to-find coins, action figures, role-playing cards. You can go over there and get yourself a copy of Dominion and sports memorabilia.
Hey, Peyton Manning's a Bronco. I was there yesterday. They have a signed Peyton Manning jersey.
And, of course, they've got comics, which is what I go there for.
All their back issues are half off. On Saturday, all dollar issues are only 50 cents.
And if you sign up for a hold slot, you'll get 20% off graphic novels and comics.
So stop by 6700 Wadsworth Boulevard in Arvada, Colorado, and tell them the Real Nerd sent you. Hey everybody, Ryan from Real Nerds here. I'm here with my good friend Joe of Birdman Barbecue. Joe, why don't you give us a little bit of history of Birdman Barbecue?
Well, actually, it's a family recipe been passed down for generations. My wife's dad has it now, and we're just now starting to bottle it up. We've got two different flavors, original and spicy, so if you want a nice kick to the back of your throat, try that spicy. And now we've also got a rub, too. So,
you know, Joe, I have to be honest. I love the spicy barbecue, and if you put your rub on burgers with a spicy barbecue, off the chain.
I'm glad that you're being honest, Ryan, because that's what we like, is off the chain.
You know,
Thank you for trying that.
I'm so glad that you like that I said off the chain, because what's even more off the chain is you guys go around Colorado and other places, and you actually enter in contests for your barbecue sauce if you won anything.
Yeah, I mean, we've entered our sauce in quite a few contests, and actually we got second place in the Frisco barbecue competition. So for our sauce, just the sauce, that's pretty cool. We've also won, different categories for side items and different things like that. But the sauce winning was the crowning achievement.
And you know what's so cool about being in Colorado is I can go to places around town to pick up the sauce. Where can I get?
Yeah, go to your local area Ace Hardware stores. Check out Ruff's Barbecue in Golden. And then check out your local festivals, Frisco, Dillon. We're hitting up all those this year. So. And
also, I know too, you also run contests on your Facebook page. If you get a certain amount of likes, you always do a free drawing for a free bottle of barbecue sauce. Where can we find you on Facebook?
Absolutely. It's birdmanbbq.com, or on Facebook, I guess it's just Birdman BBQ on Facebook. Check it out. Every 100 likes that we get, we enter everybody that likes us into a drawing for a bucket of barbecue, which is a bottle of each sauce and one of our rubs. So
awesome. So, yeah, make sure you like Birdman Barbecue. Check out Joe when he's doing little things around town with Frisco and winning competitions. You know what the barbecue sauce is? Delicious. Welcome to Real Nerds. I am Ryan. In front of me is
Brad.
To my right is
James.
Hey, James. How's it going today?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Good. Brad, how you doing today?
Doing better than last week.
Yeah, you sound way better.
Thank you.
Also, you've got your shirt off, and you look manly as hell,
You
sir.
do.
Man,
people don't want to hear that.
Popping.
It's like he's
People
Christian
do want to
Bale.
hear that. They can hear the sex through the
You're just
internet, man.
permeating.
Seriously.
Bang in your ears.
He got mad earlier. He took that shirt off, and I was like, oh,
Brad
what?
is fucking your ear holes right now.
I don't know. To me, it's really hot out, so I was on
It is
top of
hot.
trying to fix the laptop. I was just burning up.
Yeah, he needs to chill.
Yeah, he does.
It's cooling down. I'm getting more acclimated to this environment.
Just to remind people, you can now leave us voicemails, and that we will play on the show, and then we'll react on the show. You can call us at 720-6nerds5. If you want, you can also email us, realnerds@gmail.com. You can leave comments on our brand new website, realnerdspodcast.com. Our Twitter account, of course, is @real_nerds. And like us on Facebook. That's where you'll get all the up-to-date news about us doing cool things. I don't know if they're cool, but I think they are. Brad, do we do cool things?
Absolutely we do.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was looking for a little more support there, guys. I said
No,
we
you
do
didn't.
cool things. You both look at me like, whatever.
Sorry, I'm just.
We
still
go
in-
see a movie every week. We go to comic book auctions. We go have booths at comic book conventions.
That's what I like to hear.
Sorry, I'm just still in shock because of the movie we saw this week.
Hey, what movie do we see this week, James?
We saw Prometheus.
We did see Prometheus, but before we can even talk about Prometheus, it's time to unspool some real news.
It's real news.
Whoa.
You see how I just totally changed that?
That was cool. Unspool some real. We need to re-record all the podcasts so we can put that in it.
Well, I'm glad you really like that, James.
I think it
I was
great.
trying to think of a cool way to start introducing real news, and now that I've explained that I've been thinking about it, it kind of loses its luster, like I just didn't pull it out of my ass. But
It's like you told a joke and then explained it.
yeah, exactly. So it kind of loses it. But yeah, that was my. That's what I think about when I'm at work and hating life.
Well, why don't you segue us into news now?
I will absolutely do that. The number one movie last week was Snow White and the Huntsman.
Which kind of surprised me. I will be honest.
Actually, I'm not surprised it's the number one movie. I'm surprised that it made $56 million.
Yeah. Well,
That's a
I don't
pretty
think
good
our
total.
audience was that full, or our screening. I mean.
But when you have almost 4,000 screens, then
Yeah, I guess that goes pretty far. And in fact, it did so well that they are immediately trying to make a sequel. And we were talking about this before the podcast, but they are getting David Koepp to script the sequel, and they're trying to get him to script it really, really fast, so that they can
can
make
probably
it
do it,
really, really fast. Yeah. He has an amazing track record of everything except for the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
still not a bad movie. I don't care what anybody says.
He probably didn't write Shia LaBeouf swinging from vines.
yeah, you're right.
That was probably a storyboard creation.
A lot of the stuff that's bad in that movie was never written. It just happened at my face.
His contribution to that was probably they get chased by the Russian forces.
Exactly.
Insert Spielbergian and Lucas inspiration.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Box Office Mojo, for your incredible box office tracking skills. Lots of movies come out next week.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm really disappointed, Brad, that you didn't put my boyfriend's movie on the very top. But the first movie that Brad listed on here was Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance. Remember when we saw that?
Yeah.
Anybody,
Is that your boyfriend's movie?
No. I mean, I do love Nick Cage.
I just put them
I
on
thought
there
maybe Nick
in
Cage
the
was your
order of
boyfriend. I
digital
don't know who
bits.
his boyfriend is.
Oh, yeah. Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows also comes out next week.
That boyfriend. Right.
Brad's number one movie when we do our year-end film explosion. I don't even have to say. I'm not even going to be surprised. It's Father's Day.
Oh, wait. That actually might be 2 weeks from now because it's listed as this week on Digital Bits, but when you click on it, it says June 26th.
Probably because they never want to release
So.
that abortion.
Whatever.
the
You know
public.
you're going to see it.
I'm probably going to see it. Yeah, I'll borrow it from you. I'm not going to spend money on it. Are you buying it?
You'll love it. You'll buy it after
That
you
was
watch it.
That
I'm
was the
buying
movie.
it.
Cool.
That was the movie with the chick who bites dudes' dicks off, right?
The guy who bites dude's dick.
Right. Even better.
Get it right, okay?
Entourage, season 8.
I'm just glad that you said yes, because if you said no and I made that up like it was a dream or something,
I just bailed
Man.
James out.
Oh wow.
Entourage season 8. We're talking. I can't believe there's 8 fucking seasons of that show.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to watch it?
No, I've never tried
I
to.
have.
Because my wife
I got
forces me to
farther-
watch Sex in the City. When you tell me it's men with Sex in the City, I don't want to watch it.
I got farther in Entourage than I did with The Wire, but that doesn't say that I got very far.
Superman versus the Elite. I don't even know what that cartoon is about. Brad, do you know what it's about?
Me neither. I just saw it, and it's superhero related, so I threw it on there, but
It's probably just another one of their DC.
It is a
cartoons.
DC Direct. I've seen cover art for it, but I don't know what he's fighting.
Yeah.
Must
the,
be
the Elite, I guess.
I guess the Elite from
that must be a
Krypton.
deep DC cut.
Yeah. Tosh.0 hoodies, which I guess his seasons are broken up by what he's wearing.
Yeah.
The new Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, like they're re-releasing the trilogy on Blu-ray, of course, because the new movie comes out.
Yeah.
And the box art is fucking terrible.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's basically they took the face of Spider-Man and the face of the Green Goblin and put it on a
Either
blue-
side of
either
the-
side of the like the art, and the background is Spider-Man blue. Like not the comic, but like the Spider-Man blue color, and
Yeah.
it has a 1 in between the two heads. Or for Spider-Man 2, it has a 2 in between Doc Ock and Spider-Man.
Oh.
So they take the amazing posters and original art and
threw
change
it in the trash, I guess.
You threw it in the trash because I guess people need. I want to get them because they have all the special features that are not on the trilogy that I got when Spider-Man 3 came out on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
But Brad gave me a great idea last week. Is I'm just going to change out the box art in them and put the old ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
because I mean I don't need to read what special features there are. Yeah, because they're terrible.
And if anything, you could just, I don't know, they don't show you what the back looks like, so you could cut the back of the cover and slide it over the back of the cool one that you put in. So.
Yeah, because they're cheap. I think they're only like $11 or something.
Yeah.
Speaking of bad box art, you could actually do that with the Star Wars Blu-rays.
I love the Star Wars Blu-ray.
I hated that box art.
Yeah.
Harold and Maude, the Criterion collection.
There you go, Sierra. She's still not listening.
Also, the Gold Rush, Criterion. That's Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah.
I think that's one of his first movies, if I remember correctly, from Chaplin.
Yeah, it's the one where that famous that scene where he makes the potatoes dance on the table.
Yeah, it might be the first one with the tramp in it. I don't remember.
It is an important movie.
It is, yeah, thank you. It is. It's a really famous one. And if you actually watch its Chaplin movies, they're actually pretty entertaining. Mm-hmm. I catch him every once in a while on Turner Classic Movies. I watch The Great Dictator.
Yeah.
That movie's, I don't know, almost 3 hours long. I was entertained the whole time. Like when he was in his barber chair and he's getting his haircut and the chairs are going up and down, I thought it was fun.
It's one of those things that I have always meant to go back and revisit because I've seen little snippets and stuff, and I've sat down and watched maybe an hour of one, but I don't even remember which one. I certainly haven't seen the important ones.
Yeah, I really want to get the Criterion of The Great Dictator because it's really cool, and I always mean to pick it up. But then, I don't know, $30 for some reason I didn't.
Well,
yeah,
it's Criterion's going to have some awesome special
features.
features.
Yeah, Criterion makes great movies, Blu-rays and stuff. Shallow Grave, Criterion. What's that one, Brad?
It's just another Criterion that was in the. I'm sure.
Is it like kind of like a 1950s? Kind of sounds.
It's got
like
Ewan McGregor in it. It's from 1990 something.
No, 1950s. I thought it was like a 1950s like gangster.
Yeah, I don't know.
Thriller.
It was just part of the Criterion releases, so I thought I'd include it there.
Awesome. So thanks, Digital Bits. Again, you can click on links on Digital Bits, take you to Amazon. Buy from those links because you support Digital Bits. This Brad added something new on here. He added the Esquire Midnight Schedule.
Oh yeah. I wasn't sure if I wanted to include this as a commercial at the beginning of each show from now on, or have you just continue to read it.
Whatever. Do you want me to read it this week?
Sure.
Okay.
Save me some work.
It's up to you. Esquire Midnight Schedule. If you're in Denver, the Esquire does Midnight Madness. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
There. And they always usually have pretty interesting movies. June 15th and 16th is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I didn't fall in love with that movie as much as other people did. It's all right. June 12th and 23rd June 22nd and 23rd is The Mask.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I have not seen that movie in years. I remember when I was little, I liked it.
Yeah.
June 29th and 30th is Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And July 6th and 7th is Rushmore. To me, like, seeing Fast Times at Ridgemont High in the theater doesn't really excite me.
Yeah, they're not all winners.
Yeah, but I mean...
but I'll be there for Rushmore.
I know you will be. You will be. Cool. James, what's some real news you got for me?
Well, we got a couple of things. We have good news, we have bad news, all kinds of things. And usually we don't talk about trailers on the podcast, just because, I don't know, it doesn't feel like news. But we had some cool ones this week.
We did.
That I want to talk about. We all actually, before the movie we saw, got to see the Django Unchained trailer. And, oh, man, how cool is that thing?
It was
right?
really cool.
That looks fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Has a nice Tarantino feel already in the trailer.
And it's weird because I feel like we haven't seen him tackle something like... Western movies are very much like that genre is very set. Like we have certain expectations for it, and I feel like he is taking his thing and and the Western genre, those Western genre tropes, and sort of slamming them together. Like the whole trailer has got 70s music and stuff like that, but at the same time he's going and getting those shots from old spaghetti westerns and throwing it in there. It's kind of exciting.
It is. It's cool. And I love Leo holding a chalice that has a coconut with a straw in it. Just kind of, his character is obviously some sort of aristocrat and cares a lot about how he looks and what he's doing. And it looks like he's having fun in the movie, which you don't see him have too often.
Yeah, he always has like serious.
Yeah, since
roles.
Catch Me If You Can, I think it's maybe the last time he's really had fun in a movie.
Also, like since Tarantino's tackled like this is a Western, the one he did before was a World War II movie, and then I think before that was
Grindhouse, wasn't it?
Grindhouse, yeah.
Death
So
Proof.
like a
It's like
throwback
an
B
old-
movie, and then before that was Kill Bill.
Yeah.
So that's like a Japanese
Well, the second one is a Western. The first one is a Japanese revenge film, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, does that mean his next thing's going to be a sci-fi movie?
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, he has done a lot of genre stuff, but you know what I mean? Like, those other genres aren't as defined, I feel like, as a Western is. Like, there's just certain things that we expect from a Western that, you know.
I'm just excited about the idea of, like, what Tarantino would do with a sci-fi movie, because it's the farthest off his radar, I think.
That would be pretty crazy, yeah. We'll have to see. I don't think he's talked at all about what the next one was. Yeah,
he doesn't really do that too often.
No, well, but
I mean, Inglourious Bastards, I know he wanted to make for a while, but usually he kind of just says, "Oh, this is the next movie I'm making."
Yeah, like when Kill Bill popped up, it was just like,
yeah,
and he had been so quiet for years that, yeah, so it'll be cool. I look forward to that movie. Did you guys watch the trailer for Bindlestiffs? We talked about this last week.
No, I didn't.
The Kevin Smith comedy. You should check it out. It's really weird because I think it's actually really funny. There's some great stuff in it. But it is shot like some kids with a cheap camera in a high school. Like, all of the main characters are clearly high school students, and actually that age. And just I don't even know how to describe it. I don't know what camera they're using or whatever, but it looks like home video pretty much, which is not entirely a bad thing. It's just really interesting. It makes the whole thing more of something I want to. I don't mean I want to watch the movie. I mean, I want to watch what happens as he tries to do this, because he didn't go and get some movie that, like, well, nobody else is really willing to fund this, but it is clearly really good, and this will be the one that I go with. He went and found something that, like, no one would have ever seen and no one would have ever put out there, and he is trying to promote it, and I think that's really interesting.
I think he's what he did. He's doing what that one guy did for him and Clerks.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely what it feels like.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch the trailer for Flight?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
I read about it because I was interested, because it's Zemeckis' first film that he's made that's not motion capture in, 10 years or something?
Yeah. And when you watch it, it actually comes up and says, like, from Robert Zemeckis, the director of Forrest Gump and Castaway. And that's exactly what it looks like.
Sweet.
There's a little bit over the topness. Maybe it's just because Denzel Washington anymore, I see him and I just think he's in, like, Unstoppable or some other crazy movie like that. And there's a little bit of that in it. But it is so clearly Robert Zemeckis, and in a fresh way that just in the trailer, I could already tell, like, this is going to be kind of special for me, because I miss that guy. Those two movies, Forrest Gump and Castaway, are so important to me, that to have him basically not being in movies for the last 10, 15 years was heartbreaking, and to see him come back is kind of exciting. But now onto the real news, the real news, I should say. They announced this week, unfortunately, that they're going back and doing what is maybe 7 weeks of reshoots on World War Z, which is a very bad sign. It means that they've sort of gotten their all of their shots together and compiled it and realized that the movie they have is kind of dog shit. Did you read about this, Ryan?
No. I mean, my only thing is maybe it's bad, or it was going to be a Christmas movie, and then since they moved it to the summer, they decided that they have more time and they can make it cooler as a summer movie.
That could be, but it's really rare. I've never seen anybody do that big of reshoots.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that. I mean, I know that the movie has had a kind of a tough go.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's a balance. I think they said they're going to make it PG-13, and then I don't know. PG-13 zombie movie is kind of weird in its own right, but I mean, The Walking Dead is on TV and it's TV-14 and it's still pretty gruesome. So we'll see.
If we need a glimmer of hope, though, it's that today, right after getting out of Prometheus, they announced that Damon Lindelof is the person who is rewriting that script.
Wow. 7 weeks. Wow, that's almost like a whole movie shoot.
Yeah, exactly. Like they are doing some serious stuff, and clearly that means that they have a lot of money invested in it, and think that if they do it right, they can make a lot of money back, and they're willing to take this risk. But obviously, they feel like story-wise, that is where it's lacking, and so they're going and getting somebody who is pretty hot right now and trying to, just inject it with a little bit more adrenaline.
And, because of... Have you read the book?
No, I haven't.
The book is really episodic, so, I mean, it's, each chapter kind of deals with a different thing. So I think getting someone like Damon Lindelof, who is comes from TV and understands how to write a bunch of little parts to make one overlapping story, I think might actually do it pretty well because, I mean, and he understands how you need to tie everything together with little bit parts as well.
Which actually segues quite well into the fact that this week Damon Lindelof signed a 2-year contract. I lost my notes, so I don't remember who he signed it with. But he signed a 2-year television contract. So he has some little idea that he is trying to get back to TV with. He actually has said recently in interviews that he sort of desperately misses TV, which is weird because I've always felt like as a writer, TV would be the place where I would just be in hell constantly because like the stresses of that, the requirements of being on top of that show constantly just sound absolutely insane.
It is insane, but some people thrive on that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, even the South Park guys, you know, they thrive when that pressure's against them.
Yeah.
And so maybe he feels that pressure pushes him to be the best he can be.
Plus, that medium offers a lot of freedom as far as how
yeah.
long of a story you can tell and what kind of story you can tell. And obviously, he has made studios quite a bit of money, so they are going to probably give him, a
I wouldn't be
king's
surprised
deal.
if it wasn't ABC.
Yeah, I would be too. I just don't remember. But that makes me really excited.
Yeah.
You know, as much as I want to see him scripting future Star Trek movies and Prometheus 2 movies, I want to see what he does on TV because it's great.
You can do both.
Oh yeah, he can. He can. That's just a lot of work, and I don't want Prometheus 2 to suffer because of it. We also had a lot of news that I bizarrely just missed throughout the week. I don't know what was going on, but DC has made a lot of announcements, or there are a lot of rumors going around DC as far as what they're trying to do. And honestly, it sounds creepily familiar because basically they are talking about making a lot of movies so that they can build up to a Justice League movie, which what?
But but the problem is that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
And if they can't make the movies, even if you think, The Incredible Hulk is the weakest of the Marvel movies or Iron Man 2 or whatever, they're still better than any DC movies excluding the Batman movies.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm just talking about the Nolan Batman, because besides Nolan, he's the only one who's, I think, really grasped the characters in a cool way. And they're just going about it the wrong way because they saw how much money, Avengers made. And so they said, well, if we do Justice League, in theory, they should be able to make more because Superman is the most recognized superhero in the world.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who the Flash is. Everybody knows who Wonder Woman is. So you'd think that'd drive people, but what DC always fails to realize is their characters are so disconnected from everybody else that, it's hard for people to root for them, where even though, Tony Stark is, a billionaire and he can build his Iron Man, he becomes a hero. Whereas, Superman, he's stronger than anybody else. He can fly and he has no weakness.
Yeah.
People don't connect with that. People connect with Bruce Wayne, even though he's a billionaire. He's doing it not because he was granted great power. It's because he wants to make the world a better place. And that's why I think Batman succeeds where the rest of them don't.
Well, and in the article on Slashfilm where they talk about this whole idea, they point out that the key to why Avengers works is that Avengers was a good movie.
Yeah.
And if we look at Green Lantern, and the writer for Green Lantern is the person they're talking about having write Wonder Woman. Green Lantern was not a great movie. It just wasn't. That movie fails in a lot of aspects, I think. A Batman movie would not be Christopher Nolan's Batman, almost guaranteed. They might try to bring somebody in and pretend like it's rooted in that universe, but the atmosphere in a Batman movie would not work.
No, and even I think Christian Bale said he would not do a Batman movie if Christopher Nolan didn't do it.
Right, and Christopher Nolan is not doing a Justice League movie.
No, he
almost
won't.
Guaranteed. We have yet to see Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, but I really doubt that movie is going to be so amazing that it would be the Iron Man of this series. Cool. Because that's what they need. They need a movie to come out that is Iron Man.
Yeah, they can take a secondary character and make him be the flagship character for it.
Yeah.
They need to take someone like the Flash, or I think the Flash
the
is a cool character. I really do. But I just think my problem always with DC is they don't make their characters relatable. And
there's something still very...
And Aquaman's on the team.
There's something still very corny about most of their characters. Even the Flash.
Agreed.
He runs very fast, but he is never Iron Man. Iron Man is just a badass character. You could do Green Arrow.
Iron Man wasn't a badass character until that movie came out.
Well, I kind of
I think
disagree.
Robert Downey Jr. made that. Like, I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
a lot of people who are really into Iron Man comics.
But if you read
Yeah,
Iron Man
I
in the
agree.
comics, he was a lot like that character. Like, he is portrayed well by RDJ, but I would disagree. I think that the fact that he is an alcoholic, all of the background that Iron Man has, does make him an interesting character, more interesting than.
well, he's interesting. I just mean he didn't have the mass appeal.
Yeah, I mean, he did it.
No, you're right. You're right.
because
He doesn't have the mass appeal.
Yeah.
I think he's on his 6th volume, so it means his book's been canceled a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, yeah, I agree. It's hard. And again, too, I mean, but with DC, I mean, which character do you latch on to? They have so many different worlds. They have so many different interpretations of the character
Well, up until
in their canon.
like the 90s, Superman was like loved by many.
Yeah.
It's just the change in the culture is, made that he's kind of like the Captain America. So if they make Superman like a cynical character in our time, I think he might be more relatable. He's too like
yeah, I mean, you can,
I agree.
positive and
yeah, you can make him relatable, but I mean, even Captain America, I said it earlier, and I mean, I watched the Avengers again this week, but he says a line where if anybody else said it and it wasn't delivered so well, and it wasn't Steve Rogers, where he said, Black Widow says, those guys are practically gods, and Captain America says, there's only one God, ma'am, and I don't think he wears those clothes.
Yeah.
And if anybody else says it, you're just like, dude, that's so stupid. But
Yeah.
for some reason, you believe Steve Rogers, and I just don't buy Superman. I never have.
Though he does have, Steve has some cynical moments. I mean, yeah, it's that Steve is a deeper character than I think Clark Kent has ever really been. And every time that they try to change that character and make him into something that people relate to, they start getting at the core of who Superman is and changing him in ways that like the fans aren't going to necessarily like. And I think that honestly they need to ignore what the fans like and make Clark Kent into a more interesting, multifaceted character. As far as DC having an Iron Man, Green Lantern was it. Green Lantern was their chance. That character is a B-list character who can be really cool. There's some awesome ideas behind that, and if you made Hal Jordan a really interesting character, that movie could have been the flagship. But they made a crummy movie with too much CG and the wrong actors in it, and not much heart at all. And that's where they messed up. I think it would be cool to see a Zatanna movie. I think that if they picked a character like that and really used that as their flagship, maybe that would work. I don't think Wonder Woman is it, but that's probably what they'll do next. They'll probably try to make Wonder Woman into their new Iron Man. And
they can't do Hawkman because he's too much like Thor.
Yeah.
And Aquaman, I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't even come out of the water.
Aquaman is just a silly character.
That's one of my favorite jokes on Family Guy ever, is when the chick is being like beat up on the shore, and Aquaman's yelling at from the ocean. Yeah, come over here, and I'll teach you a lesson. I don't know.
I actually think they shouldn't worry about Batman. Like maybe they should save Batman coming onto the Justice League for like if the first Justice League does well. So just focus on incorporating all those super natural characters and make a cool movie. And don't parody, don't be Marvel. Do your own thing.
Yeah.
And stand out and just go either go straight for the Justice League movie and introduce all those characters as a group, or do something else. I don't know.
In a way, though, Batman was The Dark Knight, and Batman Begins is the worst thing that happened to DC, because also on Slash Film they had an article with Mark Miller, who's the writer of Kick-Ass, and he's a Marvel writer, and he said that he read the script for the new Justice League movie, and it's dark and mature. One, I don't know where he got the script already, but
yeah.
I mean, the thing that works with Avengers too is, I mean, they didn't make it dark or mature. They took each character for what they were, and they made it fun.
Yeah, I have absolutely no faith in that project at all. And it does not excite me as a movie person, much less as a comic person, at the idea of them making that movie the way that Avengers did. Like, when they started building that up, I thought, this is the coolest thing ever. If DC actually tries to do this, I almost guarantee that it will be a failure.
And the crazy thing
a
about
failure the
Avengers,
way that Green Lantern was.
Is you remember how it started? Just a throwaway scene at the end of the first Iron Man?
Yeah, they made a good movie, and then Left a few seeds in there, and it was like, if
Yeah.
this works, this works. You
Just
know?
a throwaway scene.
Yeah.
And I remember reading an article where they said Sam Jackson didn't even know that his likeness was based, the ultimate version of Nick Fury was based on him. So when they asked him to do the movie, he said, yeah, sure, whatever. I didn't know that. They showed him pictures. He's like, wow, it's me. And so they just do this little throwaway scene at the end.
And even that is actually unfair, because Marvel had been selling their properties for many years and making very, middling to successful movies, even some unsuccessful movies, so that they could save up to make their own studio to do that in the first place.
Well, yeah.
Like, we forget that they did all of the, all the Blade movies and all of that stuff.
Blade, Daredevil, Hulk.
How many
Ghost
DC
Rider,
other
Punisher.
than yeah, exactly. How many DC characters out there are there that they've made movies out of? Maybe they're all slipping my mind. Maybe they're all out there.
No,
but
they're
other than Batman and Superman,
Watchmen.
what have we seen? Yeah, but that also was not successful.
No, I'm just saying that. I mean, you have Batman, Superman, The Watchmen are the only movies that have come out in the last. Oh, Green Lantern. 10 years.
Right. Well, but yeah, I'm sort of counting Green Lantern as a JLA character that they would be trying to do this with. But yeah, I just don't ever see this happening, and I don't think I want to.
Yeah, we'll see. What else you got for us, James?
You guys like Scream, right?
I do.
They're making a TV show
Meh.
on MTV.
Not watching it.
Oh, yeah. What? I don't know what the point of that would be. I mean,
they're just.
can you really scare people on TV?
Well, Walking Dead, I think. But I mean, you're targeting though teenagers. That, that when Scream came along, I don't think people remember that it wasn't that cool to be, that meta.
Yeah.
But it kind of started that trend in horror movies where they're very aware of what's going on. And then I actually thought Scream 4 was really good, but to make it a TV show where it's going to be watered down and going to be on MTV, so it's going to be full of, teen angst and stupid
And
stuff.
like, what haven't they said in 4 movies that they could stretch out into
TV
26
series.
episode
Yeah.
seasons?
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me
Or
too.
even 13
Because
episodes.
even the Scream movies, they're like an hour and 40 minutes long. But could I trying to guess who the killer is for? The killing. You're gonna sit there and guess who the killer is over a whole 23 episode season?
Even better, is an episode ever scary if you never kill anybody? Like
Yeah.
you may only be able to kill a couple people a season. You can't kill somebody every episode.
No, because
You
you
know?
take away the impact.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
exactly. So if you kill somebody every episode, then it becomes South Park. If you kill somebody every 4 episodes, then I don't know.
Yeah, it's too.
Then
I think it's too difficult. I wouldn't even attempt it. But
Yeah.
24.
Mhm.
Kill someone every 4 episodes.
yeah.
That was cool. But yeah.
Yeah.
But even 24 though, they'd throw curveballs and stuff, and Milo is one of the ones that always shocked me in 24.
They could do something like American Horror
Not Milo. Who
Story.
the fuck was the dude who got shot in the head? He was like a system analysis guy, and you thought Eric Balfour's character, and you thought he was really important. He just got shot in the head, and he fucking died.
Oh, that was him. Milo.
Was it Milo?
Yeah. In season 6, right? When the guys, the
Yeah, I think
bad
so.
guys infiltrate CTU
Yeah.
again. And,
Is it
he-
Milo?
he-
Yeah.
Yeah, he just walks up and he's like, "Hey, stop pushing us around."
Yeah, stop
And
pushing around,
boom.
and he gets shot in the head. See, that's stuff shocking.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
Spoilers for 24 season 6. Dude, it's been out for like 4 years.
Yeah.
I blacked out. I didn't hear it anyway. One last piece of good news to end us on a high note is that James Salas, who wrote the book Drive and the sequel book Driven, is saying that they are right now working on getting Driven made into a movie.
Cool.
No word yet on Ryan Gosling. No word yet on Nicholas Winding Refn. Nicholas Winding Refn's next movie is supposed to be a Logan's Run remake, but maybe after that, I don't know.
There's already been a movie called Driven, starring Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
It's a
Well,
Formula One racer.
I think it's so unforgettable that
I don't think they'll care. How many movies called Savages are there?
Ugh.
Just in the last 5 years, Brad.
3, 4.
Like, yeah, exactly. I think it'll be okay. And are any of them good? Of course, I never saw that one indie movie, but still.
I did. It was good.
Oh, well, all right. I'll have to check it
Sad.
out instead of that Oliver Stone movie. Anyway, that's our news because I'm of course really excited about Drive.
Yeah, totally.
like-
I love.
Yeah, me too.
I love
Though-
that movie.
I think maybe they should not get Carey Mulligan in the movie at all.
Why?
I think
Why?
that because that first movie is so heartbreaking and wonderful as its own thing that I think if they made a sequel, I would just want it to be the driver in a different
its own-
situation. Yeah. I don't want them to mess with that first movie.
Yeah, in that one he
Does
was
that
a
make
real
sense?
human being. Remember his theme song?
Now he has to become a legend.
So, James, it's your turn for Comic Book Corner this week.
Oh yeah. Well, I wanted to pick one. I want to talk about what is basically my white horse, or not my white horse, my
White
my white
horse.
whale.
Okay. So it's going to ride in? You're going to ride off in the sunset?
No. The thing that I will be looking for next week at Denver Comic Con so desperately, which is I Kill Giants #1. I Kill Giants is a mini-series, it's 7 issues long, written by Joe Kelly. And he wrote it after his
love
father
Joe
died.
Kelly.
Yeah, Joe Kelly is just amazing. He was in the Brain Trust on Spider-Man for a few great years there.
Yeah,
at least I think it was that.
Yeah,
long.
if you read my one I just happened to post of my favorite Spider-Man stories, he wrote the one with the Rhino. He wrote all the issues with the Rhino, and in issue 625, a new Rhino challenges the old Rhino to a fight to the death, and the new Rhino or the old Rhino is married, and he gave up his life of crime. He spent time in prison. He says, "No, I'm married," and so the new Rhino kills his wife, and then he puts on his suit again. And he's going to go kill the new Rhino. And there's such a great scene where Spider-Man's trying to hold him. He's shooting him with web. He's trying to hold him. He's like, don't do it, don't do it. And the Rhino just kills him, obliterates him. And
it's really good.
it's so beautiful, and it's so well written. But anyways, I Kill Giants.
Anyway, I Kill Giants is about this little girl who she's something of an outcast, and very much it's clear when you read the book that Joe Kelly was a geek, at least like me, who in high school and younger than that was playing D&D and hanging out with those kinds of people and all of that. And so she's very much an outsider, but there's some weird stuff going on. She's very imaginative, and the way that it's drawn, there are these other little characters that show up, and basically she believes that there are giants in the world and that she has the power through this hammer that she keeps in her little backpack to fight giants. And you're not always sure what stuff is real and what stuff isn't. But at its core, and I don't want to spoil the book because I think it's really moving when you find out what is really going on. But at its core, she is sort of trying to deal with some emotional issues. It is really this metaphor for how we go through life and the problems that we will run into, and how this little girl is having to learn to face those problems. And it's, man.
Yeah, it's one of the first comics you ever told me to pick up.
Yeah.
And I picked up the trade paperback, and to me, I won't spoil it either, but to me it's basically a story about a little girl who's lost.
Yeah.
Where she doesn't have friends, she doesn't have parents, she doesn't have, all she has is her imagination, and that's the only time she feels like she's found.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful story, and Joe Kelly is an amazing writer.
What I will say is that I was sitting in our student union at CSU downstairs in this room where there were all these couches and stuff and people sitting around as I was finishing the last pages, and it took everything I had to not just weep sitting in the middle of this crowd. I cried a little, but I was not weeping like I should have been. It is so beautiful.
It really is.
You just got to check it out. The art is really cool. It's got sort of this Japanese animation kind of a style to it. It's really, man.
And you can pick up the trade paperback at Coins, Cards, and Comics. It's
You
only
can.
$14.99 normally, so you can get it for like $11,
Because you get it
$12.
20% off, yeah. And I think there's a hardback cover of it as well.
There
now.
is that one's really nice.
Yeah,
I saw
yeah.
that at Time Warp, which is a comic store around here too.
Yeah.
That I always thought about getting. Because
One of these
it's
days
so
I'm going to have
nice.
to pick that up. But only after I find the only issue I'm missing right now, which is issue #1.
And hopefully you can find it at Comic Con. There's
Yeah,
so
I'm
many
I'm really
vendors
hoping.
there.
Yep. Because you can't find it at Mile High, even if you
Nope.
cheat and go online.
No, you can't
Yeah.
find it at Coins, Cards. You can't find it at Time Warp.
Nope. It's really hard
I
to get a
think-
hold of. Even though when I finally find it, it will cost me like $5.
Yeah, it's
Like it is
bizarre.
not it is not an expensive comic, or at least I don't expect it should be. But
It's one of those things that just slipped through the cracks, you know.
yeah,
Yeah, because I think I got issue 2 at Time Warp.
Yeah,
I
you
stole their
did.
last number 2.
Yeah.
And I asked him, and the guy who runs Time Warp said he hasn't seen it since it's been released.
Yeah.
And usually expect a comic like that, especially since it's Image, to be $150 like The Walking Dead #1. But
Yeah. But it's a small run. It wasn't wildly popular. It's one that most people haven't read. But you should definitely check it out. It's so good.
hell yeah, cool. So pick that up.
Yeah. Ryan, what have you been watching?
This week I didn't watch very much. I've been really busy, unfortunately. But I did see. I watched 2 documentaries. One ties into it. I watched Comic Book Confidential, which is not that good.
I don't know what that is.
It was on Amazon Instant Video, and it's basically a story about the comic books through the years, but it's not told in a very exciting way. The coolest part about it is they have interviews with William Gaines, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Will Eisner in it.
Wow.
So I watched it for that, and
I'll watch it just for interviews with William Gaines.
oh yeah, that dude's off his rocker. But he had a great story, how when after his Senate hearing, and I guess the most interesting part about it was the very early parts of it where they're talking about the formation of comic books and where they came from. And I didn't know William Gaines' father was one who collected comic strips from Sunday papers and put them in a book form and sold them for 10 cents, put little stickers for 10 cents, and they became insanely popular. And he was telling that story, and then he obviously went into, the Vault of Horror, Tales from the Crypt, super suspense stories. And him and his the writer on him, him and William Gaines and Ron Feldstein, I think was his name, they wrote and plotted every one of the stories in those books. And what they would do is they would just sit down and they'd say, oh, we should have a wife and she chops off her husband's head, which is the one that got him in a lot of trouble. Is there's a issue where there's an axe and a dude's severed head on the cover, which is a really...
It's actually a woman's severed head. It's
is it a woman's head?
Yeah, it's a husband who killed,
it's a really iconic
it's
cover.
It's messed up, dude.
Whatever. It is messed up. I don't think... But the interesting part is they intercutted this... It wasn't... What's the name of the book that came out? It's
The 10 Cent Plague by David Hodgdon?
No.
Is that the one you're talking about?
No, it's like the Something of the Innocent.
The Seduction of the Innocent.
Seduction of the Innocent.
Yeah.
And they had this guy talk about how bad comic books are. And they had this... it's obviously shot in the 50s, and they had these kids sitting around passing out comic books. And then this one kid saw that this guy stabbed somebody in the comic book. And so in this little reenactment in the 50s, this kid stabbed his friend and stole his comic book because comic books are morally corrupt.
Oh, man.
But he told an interesting story about... his favorite story he ever wrote was the sci-fi story where this guy was on the moon, or...
The black dude, the astronaut.
Black dude. And it revealed that he was a black guy, and that was really controversial. And the comics code sent back that he had to take his perspiration off his forehead. And William Gaines said, no, I'm not doing that. And he sent it out anyways. And he didn't pay the last, I don't know if you call it a royalty check or whatever to the Comics Code Authority, because they're supposed to pay for it.
Yeah.
And he just told it basically to stick it up their asses.
Yeah.
And then he went on to make Mad and made actually more money with Mad magazine. But it was interesting. I mean, it's cool seeing Jack Kirby give an interview, because I think he's been dead since 92. And Stan Lee was in it. I just didn't... It was told really boringly.
Yeah.
And they spent a lot of time on the underground comics, like by Robert Crumb and stuff, and I just don't get into those ones.
Yeah.
They're just too goofy.
You should read David Hodgdon's book, The 10 Cent Plague, because it goes through all of that stuff and is just tells it in such a fascinating way. He goes and talks to people who were artists at the conception of the comics code and the way that it affected them and things like that, and tells the whole story of William Gaines and all of that, and also does a whole lot of history as far as what happened after Frederick Wortham published that book, and the kind of just disinformation and garbage that he was putting out there. Very, very similar to that guy who's always attacking video games.
It's so bizarre, isn't it? Like when you watch,
it's insane.
You watch those guys talk, you just don't get it.
What's fascinating about it is, even if you don't like comics, this is, and this is my opinion, but I think I could back it up pretty easily. This is the most heinous bit of government-run censorship ever in the history of America.
Oh yeah, I mean it's
easily.
It's like pissing all over freedom of speech.
Oh yeah, no, it's terribly offensive if you actually go back and look at what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting about that issue of the Black Astronaut is that they had published that issue before the code was put into place. And then they were just reprinting it because they knew they were going out of business. They weren't going to stay in business with the code in place, and so they were just republishing it. That's all. But basically, because the people who ran the code hated William Gaines and EC Comics, they were just like griefing them at some point.
Yeah, my favorite story out of the whole Comic Code Authority is Morbius, who's a vampire in Spider-Man.
Yeah,
had to be called Morbius the Living Vampire because you couldn't have dead things on the Comic Code Authority.
Yeah.
So it's so stupid.
Well, plus you got to read it just because when they start talking about Stan Lee and Stan Lee's point of view on it, when he starts talking about like how he never had a run-in with it, like he never felt like he was, being told that he couldn't do what he wanted to do, but at the same time he is also the person who tore it down.
Oh yeah, his
like
Green Goblin story, where you wouldn't even think is that big a deal. He was actually, the government went to him and said, hey, Spider-Man is the most popular comic book that you have. Can you write a story about telling children the dangers of drugs? And Stan Lee says, well, I don't know anything about drugs. So he just made a story about this kid who trips on LSD and he falls off a building. Spider-Man saves him. And
isn't it like over 3 issues?
It
like
is 3
by
issues.
the third issue, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's great.
Sort
because,
of turn around.
Harry Osborn actually starts taking LSD, and that's what snaps Norman Osborn into becoming the Green Goblin again. And that's why Spider-Man fights the Green Goblin in it.
Right.
And I mean, and Stan, said he sent it, and he's just like, oh, it's just a goofy little story. I mean, nothing. I know nothing about drugs. I just know you trip and you act all goofy, and Spider-Man saved this kid. And he said, and it came back, and they wouldn't let him publish it after they told him to write the story. So he went to his publisher and he said, "Hey, we should run this anyways." And the publisher said, "Yeah, we should."
Yeah,
and
because all of the Comics Code Authority came from the fact that if that stamp wasn't on a comic, retailers wouldn't buy them. And so once it was like, well, Spider-Man can do it without, like, people were going to buy Spider-Man. So retailers still bought it, even though it didn't have the code on it. And it had been so long that people didn't care as much anymore.
Yeah. And I think it didn't really go away till the 90s.
No. In fact, DC will still publish comics with that with that sticker on it. Actually, I think this last year they officially stopped.
Wow.
But until as of 2 years ago when I wrote a research paper on it, DC still would submit things to it, but if they got turned down, they would publish it anyway. But
what was crazy is they did that, and then a couple years later, maybe it was a year later, was it Green Arrow's girlfriend died from a drug overdose or someone, and it was approved by the Comic Code Authority because...
Well, they knew.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Once we don't have that authority anymore, what are you going to do?
And then I watched another one called Chasing Ghosts, which is about arcades and how they went away.
Oh, man, I thought it was going to be like Ghost Hunters.
No, I wouldn't watch a show like that. But it was interesting because it had all the people that were in the King of Kong, and it was trying to tell their story that they aren't these bad guys, or just these guys who are really good at video games. And
yeah,
I mean, and the whole story is about because you remember in King of Kong where they took there was that time picture where it's Billy Mitchell and all the other guys on there, and
yeah.
So it's just basically them getting back together and doing that picture again with them being older. And to me, even when they try to make Billy Mitchell not a douchebag, he's a total douchebag.
Yeah, it's just something about his aura.
Yeah, I mean, he does. He has a perfect score in Pac-Man. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Sure.
But yeah, he's just a butthead, and it was all right. It wasn't as good as King of Kong because King of Kong you actually are rooting for somebody.
Yeah.
And in this, you're just watching this arrogant guy. I don't even know. It wasn't all right. It's because the King of Kong was so good that this one was kind of just whatever.
Reactionary. Yeah.
Yeah, and it had all the same guys and kind of had the same beats to it, but not told in an entertaining way because you didn't have Steve Wiebe and you were rooting for him.
Neither of those guys have that award right now. That title.
It's some doctor.
Yeah, some other dude's doing it now.
Yeah, I remember it's a doctor from Japan or something. I was reading the records for it. It's pretty interesting. But the movie, if you see a video game documentary, you should see King of Kong because it's really good. Yeah, that's really all I watched. Watch some more Buffy.
You also watched the Avengers again?
I did see the Avengers again.
Finally.
Yeah, I know. I finally got around to seeing the Avengers again, and in 2D, it's even better. Just because when we saw it it was so dark, the screen, but when it was, bright and you could see it, oh man. And I forgot some of the moments. There's one of my favorite moments is, and I totally missed it the first time. Well, I don't think I missed
Spoilers
it.
for Avengers.
But I think I just glazed over it, was when Loki and Thor are fighting on top of Stark Tower, and Thor makes like one last plea with Loki. He says, "End this war." And I don't remember exactly what Loki says, but then there's a shot that just stays on Thor where his look is like, "I've lost my brother. I cannot stop him from doing what he's about to do," and it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I love that. And
that movie's really good.
I love Robert Downey Jr. in it. He's just so funny. And he understands that character. Well, I think it's his sixth movie doing it, or fifth or sixth movie. No, that's his fifth, and then Iron Man 3 will be his sixth one.
Yeah.
Because, he was in Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, Incredible Hulk, Avengers. I guess Iron Man 3 is his fifth one. So I'm really excited.
Yeah.
And the Iron Patriot's not in Iron Man 3.
Nope.
I just read that, too.
What was that about then?
They're just saying it's just suits or something that he has.
Yeah.
I guess it must just be like some sort of Easter egg winking at comic book fans saying,
Probably,
"Hey, Iron Patriot," because they probably don't even want to spoil Norman Osborn, which could be the Spider-Man. I'm guessing.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
So
Brad,
you should see the Adventures again. It's awesome.
what'd you watch this week, Brad?
I didn't watch much of anything either, but I did listen to I forget which podcast. Oh, it was Fat Man on Batman, and Kevin Smith was talking to blanking on his name right now. Oh, Paul Dini.
Yeah.
Who wrote a bunch of the great Batman animated series episodes, and they were talking about this one in the later seasons after it became like the Adventures of Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
About this episode where Batgirl falls off a building and dies, and then Gordon finds out that it was his daughter, so he gets Bane to track down Batman and kill him. And by the end, it turns out it was just Scarecrow's sphere gas used on Barbara Gordon, so she just had this fever dream about what would happen if her dad ever found out she was Batgirl. And I hadn't seen that episode, so I immediately rushed to my storage unit and got out my Batman the Animated Series episodes and watched it, and it's pretty cool. And then I've started watching from the first volume on, because they're not actual seasons, but they're just all the episodes scattered across.
Isn't the first one? It's interesting because the first one deals with a lot of gangsters, like the volume of the Batman animated series.
I've only seen 2 episodes so far. The first one they have on volume 1 is Man Bat.
Yeah, I think that's the very first one they did. That's actually, I think it's a really cool
on
episode.
On the Batman on Batman show, they said it was what was it? The Cat and the Claw.
Really?
And then the next one was the Heart of Ice, which is
that's a good one
Mr.
too.
Freeze's origin story, which actually is his origin story. Like, apparently in the comics, he'd never been
really
dealt like that. He's just a guy with a freeze gun. And then
I'm glad you're watching
Paul
this again.
Dini's,
I love those cartoons.
It's a really
that Mr. Freeze episode is one of the best comic book stories ever.
And I'm not
that hit me so hard as a kid. I was like, "This is the most amazing." Like man,
I thought that had always been his story, but apparently that episode is like Paul
Really?
Dini giving Mr. Freeze like a weighty backstory.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There's so many episodes that I love of that show. I have a couple favorites. The one that always stuck with me was a Clayface episode because it's like a 2-parter. And when I was a kid, it always scared me when he was in the control room and he couldn't control his faces. And there's just so many cool moments in that show. And I even like the one they did afterwards. I think Mask of the Phantasm, the movie, is really great.
Yep.
And I also love The Return of the Joker. It's Batman Beyond, but it's totally in the same vein where, I don't want to spoil the movie. Have you seen it? The Return of the Joker?
Yes.
I feel like I have, but I don't remember. I know it's got a great twist to it. So
There's an amazing twist in that movie.
I was a
it's
huge
so
Batman
dark.
Beyond fan, and so yeah.
The animated series is amazing. And if no one has seen them, I have only got the first volume on DVD,
Man.
and I always want to get the other ones, but I'm pretty sure they're really expensive. or they might not be. I haven't really tried to look very hard for them, but I love them.
You guys are going to make me watch so much Batman now. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm going through
I
it.
loved that show.
It's cool. I mean, even the episodes that were it's just gangsters, they always kind of have this feel to them where I
in the
couldn't
Man
describe
Bat
it.
one, it starts out like Harvey Dent isn't even Two-Face yet.
Oh yeah,
So like throughout the course of the show, I'm like, I don't remember how he turned into Two-Face, so I want to watch that again. And like Rupert Thorne's a big
yeah.
character
That's
in
what I mean,
that.
like the gangster guy.
Summer Gleason, I forgot, is like this integral like news reporter, like the April O'Neil for that show.
Yeah, there's even a great little Joker one. I think it's in the first volume when his car wrecks or something, and him and Batman kind of have like this powwow. I forget exactly how it goes, but
There are some goofy things though. Like there's a Christmas episode, it's the second one on that disc, and the Joker like puts together like kidnaps Gordon, Montoya, and Bullock, and Batman has to like figure out where he's keeping them, and the Joker's got like this elaborate thing altogether, but it's got like, goofy stuff like the Joker escapes from Arkham by riding a Christmas tree rocket out of there, and then when they're dangling over the acid pit or whatever, Batman is able to like grab Bullock, Montoya, and Gordon all in one grab.
wow,
Like that's like 500 pounds,
he's a stud.
and like carry them away from the vat of
You know,
acid
I always thought it was creepy too when
and hold the Joker with one hand by
the
ankle.
Joker gas hit people, and they always had that huge smile on their face, and like the fish had the smile on their face.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill's Joker is amazing.
Oh yeah,
He's great in Batman: Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Oh, you wouldn't know though.
Those those seasons are like $30 for those volumes, so it is really expensive. He's coming back though. Mark Hamill said he wasn't going to do Joker again, and they just announced that he was going to do it again, but I can't remember what for.
It won't be for Arkham City 3.
No, it's not. It's something else. Anyway.
But yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, that show's great.
yeah, I love it. I can't.
I'm not a huge Batman fan, but that show makes you a Batman fan. I mean, I love Batman, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's very smart for a kids show.
Oh yeah, extremely. And dark.
Well written, and yeah. And I never really noticed, but the opening credits never have like text or anything. It's just
No, and the music's so awesome.
Oh yeah.
That dun 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. God, it makes me so
Yeah.
excited when he's fighting the gangsters
Man.
on the roof and lightning strikes.
Yep. And I think they said in the podcast like it never really connected either, but it kind of harkens back to the is it Max Fleischer Superman cartoons?
Yeah,
Max Fleischer. I want to
yes.
say Charles Fleischer or Ruben Fleischer, but
that's Max. I'm pretty sure
those are a director and the voice of Roger Rabbit. So anyway, yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so
Uh,
check that one out. Get you geared
James.
up for The Dark Knight Rises.
yeah. What have you been watching?
Well, for my David Mamet movie this week, I watched Heist. Have you guys ever seen Heist?
Is that the Gene Hackman thing?
Yes, Gene Hackman.
And Danny DeVito.
Yes, Gene Hackman, Danny DeVito, Delroy Lindo, Sam Rockwell.
Hello.
And it's really good, man. It's also directed by Mamet, which, honestly, I understand why he pretty much directs all of his movies now, because he is better at directing his movies than anyone else is. Like, when I watch the movies that are directed by somebody else, they're a little bit lackluster, but his are really good. I mean, they're not perfect, but they're really, really good. This is a movie about, well, I mean, obviously it's a heist movie. They're these jewel thieves, or just thieves in general, and basically Gene Hackman, he's getting older. He wants to just take the stuff, the money he's earned, and get on his boat and sail off with his wife and have a happy life somewhere, out there, not stealing stuff anymore. But I guess because he had already, he owes Danny DeVito some money, and so he agrees to do this one last job, of course. Stealing some money from the Swedes. And it's just, like, the heists are really cool and well thought out. Of course, like, I'm going to tell you some of these things, and they're going to sound a little hackneyed, like that Gene Hackman is the thief, but he's unwilling to kill people. And so that kind of keeps getting him into trouble. And there is this weird interplay where you're not quite sure. Well, I shouldn't say that. But when Sam Rockwell basically gets put on their team by Danny DeVito because he wants one of his guys on the squad so he can keep an eye on it. And, of course, they're trying to work around him and avoid Sam Rockwell. And it's really cool. If you want a good heist movie, you should definitely check it out. It's on Amazon, Amazon Instant Video, I should say, which is how I watched it. It was really cool. Something that wasn't really cool, though.
I saw you clicked on next. I started laughing.
Something that wasn't really cool, though, was I finally saw Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the 1992 movie, which means that I have now seen, with the exception of a few episodes of Parenthood, everything that Joss Whedon has done, and also that doll play show that never got picked up. And it's bad. I can see the gems of what was going to be really cool about it, but I feel like all of the jokes, he edits the movie so poorly. Not Joss Whedon, Fran Rubel Kuzai, or whoever. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He never really did anything after this, but he edits the scenes so poorly that all of the jokes are offbeat. So nothing ever actually hits properly. And it's almost frustrating because you hear a line, and of course it's delivered very poorly because most of the actors are bad,
except for Donald Sutherland.
Dude, I hated Donald Sutherland.
Just kidding. The whole movie's terrible.
Okay. I thought you were serious. I was like, Donald Sutherland has never turned in this piss poor of a performance.
It's like he doesn't want to be there.
Oh, it is. It is so awful. I can't even believe it.
Well, you want to know where that Fran Rubel guy came from?
Where'd
I'll
he
tell
come
you
from?
the story.
I want to hear the story.
You read the comic book, The Origin, right?
I did.
Did you
that's
enjoy
where
it?
I was going. Yes, it's fantastic. You can see exactly what it was supposed to be, and it was supposed to be something really cool without Paul Rubens in it.
Yeah. Well, that's what Joss Whedon wanted to shoot.
Some of the worst shooting or casting. It's just awful.
That's what Joss Whedon was going to shoot because he's going to direct it.
Yeah.
But they told him it's too dark and you need to lighten it up, and he said no. And that Fran Rubel guy rewrote the script and made it the way he wanted to make it. And that's why if you ask Joss Whedon and say, hey, didn't you write the movie? He'll say, fuck no, I didn't write that movie. I'm not sure he'll say that, but he does not. He's not proud of it.
Rutger Hauer is another one where he shows up and you think like, dude, it's Rutger Hauer. He's going to be great. He's awful. He's absolutely awful.
You said Paul Rubens, but it's so awesome that after, or maybe it's just before the credits start, where he gets staked and he's like, "Ooh!"
It is really good.
That's what he's doing because the stake didn't go all the way through him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a little funny, but it's the one moment that you're like, okay. Everything else just plays so wrong.
And Luke Perry's in it.
Yes. And he messes up, like, okay, you want to make it lighter, fine. But if I am to believe the comic origin, the origin comic that I read, he went through and changed scenes so that Buffy doesn't show up to help people.
Yeah.
So that she is not the hero anymore.
Yeah.
Then what is the friggin' point? Like, the whole idea here is, hey, we're going to have a badass chick in this movie. Like, that's part of what's so cool about it.
What's hard, too, is
he messed that up.
You did it like me, where you watched the TV show and then went back and watched the movie.
So I know how good it can be.
You're like, this is the worst thing I have ever seen in my life.
Oh,
and if I step on another one of your pins you keep on laying around, Laura, I'm going to stab you with it. I love my
wife.
wife.
There are pins everywhere. Shoot, I can't even think of. Yeah, no, he dumbs it down so bad.
Did you see
and
Ben
seemingly,
Affleck?
No, I didn't see Ben Affleck.
He's a basketball player, like very briefly.
Oh yeah,
it's his first credited role ever.
Oh, and it starts so dumb. It starts with that, like, them dancing and playing basketball instead of like the flashback to the castle and the vampires and all that, which would have been a cooler beginning. And he introduces this whole thing of like Lothos being a part, like Buffy and Lothos being a part of some cycle, and like she is like seduced by him and wants to come in and be, like she wants to give herself to him.
It's
which
basically
is just
taking what makes Buffy great, which is women empowerment, and making her not empowered at all.
It's awful. It's absolutely
They
awful.
do have that montage where she's training. I haven't seen the movie in a couple years. I own it, but I don't really watch it.
And he turns Merrick, who is supposed to be a watcher, who then kills himself to save Buffy, because he knows that Buffy hasn't been trained enough. Spoilers for the comic, really. He knows that Buffy hasn't been trained enough, and he doesn't want the bad guy vampire to turn him into a vampire so that he can find out who Buffy is, who the Slayer is, and how he can kill her. So he shoots himself in the comic. Well, instead in the movie, it's like this weird convoluted. Oh, he was betraying her because Merrick actually works for Lothos, but then Lothos kills him. I don't know what the heck is going on anymore. And it's you could have made that movie and still made it fun. I don't know what they were thinking that. Oh, it's too dark. Yeah, well, it didn't have to be. No, it's really frustrating. It is. That movie is just garbage. And the truth is, what came out of it was way better than any sequels to that movie ever would have been. So I guess it's okay. Agreed. But it was so weird to watch. And then the last thing I watched was Alien, because I needed to watch it again before the new one comes out. And I purchased the Blu-ray. You guys need to own this Blu-ray. I know, I meant to when it was $30. It has never looked this pretty. It is so good. I just bought the Blu-ray, the first one, because I don't really care about Blu-rays or the sequels. I might want a Blu-ray of 3, but the other 2 I don't care about. But man, the first one looks so good. The colors all feel like they've been corrected. Like the blacks on my DVD, the blacks were not that good, and so it kind of looks a little, flaky at times. But that is all gone. It's amazing how well that movie stands up. Just especially the effects, with a few exceptions. Mother being the biggest one. That every time you see like them using computers, you're like, oh, this is a movie from the 70s. But all the rest of the effects look so good.
I'm waiting for a better box for it to come out. I don't like the box art for the single disc Alien.
The one I got isn't bad. It's the normal one where they just do a profile of the.
Well, even if you get the DVD version of the collector's edition one that Fox used to do, where it folded out, even that's better than.
Yeah. Again, like I said, I didn't care about having the whole anthology.
I know you don't, but yeah.
I don't need to ever watch Resurrection again because it'll be just as frustrating as watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer in 1992. Man, why do people have to mess up his movies?
I don't know.
It's a pretty movie, Resurrection.
It is. But again, if you look up what the script was, man, Joss Whedon should have made that movie. Anyway, that's all I saw. Alien's really good.
Hey, guess what, guys?
What?
We saw Prometheus this week.
We did.
Brad, should people go see Prometheus?
I thought it was a good movie. It's a very beautiful, pretty movie, but I didn't love it.
James, should people go see Prometheus?
If you like real sci-fi, if you like the Alien movies, yes, you should. And in fact, I will go beyond that. You friggin' need to see this movie because it's amazing.
And to me, it's competing with Dark Shadows for the worst movie of the year.
Really?
I'm just kidding. It's freaking awesome.
Here's
the trailer.
Oh, my God. My heart just dropped out of my chest. Oh.
I was saving that one up.
Oh, nice. Man.
A king has his reign. And then he dies. It's inevitable.
Prometheus has landed. These are ancient civilizations that were separated by centuries, and yet this same pictogram was discovered in every one of them.
You're smiling.
I think they want us to come and find them.
We're all here because of a map you two kids found in a cave.
Not a map. An invitation.
From whom?
Please tell me you can read that.
Prometheus, are you seeing this?
Whatever that probe is picking up, it's reading life form. What do you mean a life form?
Oh, the head. They're changing.
Changing into what?
It's moving? These things moving?
What is that?
There's a ship. They're leaving.
To go where?
Earth.
We were so wrong. Take us home! If you don't stop it, there won't be any home to go back to.
Where's that door open? Get it up! Cut it off!
So, James, you're the big... I always say so right after the trailer. I don't know why I do that. Anyways.
It's called a transition.
Yeah, it is. It's a transitional word.
James, you really like Ridley Scott.
This was my
and
most
this is your most anticipated movie of the year.
And yes, I am a huge fan of Ridley Scott.
Did it live up to your hype?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that this movie was ever quite as...
by the way, before we start, really, if you want to see this movie, don't listen to this part of our podcast because it's hard to talk about this movie without spoiling it. Anyways, go ahead, rate it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to throw that warning in there every now and then, especially if people haven't listened before and they don't realize that we throw the trailer in as a warning. I don't think this movie is ever quite as scary as Alien is the first time you see it. Maybe that's just because it's CG monsters. Maybe that's just because I am grown up now and I've seen enough stuff that stuff doesn't scare me that much anymore. Like if E.T. had been in this movie, dude, I would have peed myself. but everything else in this movie never quite, it never horrifies me the way that like The Thing does. If I watch The Thing now, oh man, that will mess me up.
I don't think it's terrifying, but I
think
it
there's
builds
great
tension.
It builds tension better than I've seen in a long time. That whole first hour, nothing happens.
No,
like nothing that you.
A lot of like Alien.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're just waiting, and you kind of know something's gonna happen.
Yep.
And he even cuts away when you know that like, okay, something horrible might be about to happen. Like something might be about to jump. He'll cut away. Mm-hmm. And that leaves you in that tense place, and he just keeps amping it up. It's amazing.
Yeah, there is parts of this movie that are so beautiful.
The opening shots, dude.
Yeah.
Like I was moved by the opening shots of this movie because they're just these wide shots of beautiful like IMAX shots. I want to see this in IMAX now of basically a desolate, lifeless world. Like the Earth as it might have been millions of years ago. Is basically what he's trying to show us, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, what I love too about the opening shots is when you get to that waterfall and that alien shows up, and you kind of feel sorry for him because he's I don't know what he drank. I do. I mean, he drank it, and
I took it as he's supposed to be Prometheus bringing fire to the humans. So
yeah, exactly. That's what
he brings his godlike essence into water, which forms us, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah, but you still like. Because you don't know that these guys are kind of not on the up and up, but but you see that you say, "Oh my gosh, he's just disintegrating," and what's happening? Yeah, the movie was really cool, and because you really don't get sci-fi like that anymore.
It's interesting because I heard Harry Knowles describe it this way. He said, this is not a movie about what if like space oil riggers found aliens or what if Marines found aliens. This is very much like, right now we're sending out Kepler missions, or not Kepler missions, but we're doing all this Kepler survey stuff to try and find planets where there's life. And this is a movie about what if we found something and we sent scientists out and scientists found aliens. In the same way that there have been a plethora of movies of what if aliens came here and guess what, they're hostile. This is what if we went out there and we found aliens and they were hostile, which is it's just a little twist on it that makes it really interesting. And man, all of the themes that they are playing with in this movie are the same themes through Alien. There's still these weird gender issues. There's still these weird, this whole idea of like privatized space travel, which of course is extremely important right now. But that scene when she comes to Charlize Theron, or the two scientists come to Charlize Theron, and Charlize Theron basically says like, you didn't spend $1 trillion to get here. We did. If you had, we would be doing this on your terms.
Yeah.
But we're doing this on my terms. And it just makes her into this like a very different kind of a villain.
What I kind of like about Charlize Theron in this is, and lately she's been playing so many over the top people. Even in young adult, she's kind of, down. Yeah. This she kind of just played it subtly, and
you
never
quite knew what to make of her until the end, because. Especially when you first are introduced to her, she seems like your Ripley. She seems like, she comes out of the thing and she's like doing push-ups and just being badass, and you're going, oh man, this is going to be the character, but she's not that character at all.
My favorite character in the whole movie was David, the android.
It's hard not to say that.
That's not a spoiler because everybody knows he is. Because one, they made a really big deal about him not understanding human emotions.
Yeah.
So he, huge spoilers again. So if you don't want to hear, he is just following orders, and so he's not really the bad guy for infecting one of the doctors and setting the course for all this stuff. He's just doing what he's told, and he doesn't understand because he doesn't understand that he's being a bad guy. So to me, that's kind of like heartbreaking for him. Like he's just basically following orders, and he doesn't understand those things about him.
Well, and it's a stroke of genius, honestly, because
my wife just shook her head at me. We don't agree with me.
The first few minutes of the movie are spent making me adore David. The first thing, when we see him watching Lawrence of Arabia, and he's quoting Lawrence of Arabia, and we see him go and he combs his hair like Lawrence. Like, just the idea of that, like that this android wants to be cool like Lawrence of Arabia. Like what are his motivations to do that? Where is he getting that idea that he wants? It's like he's trying to figure out who he's going to be
and how cool
and
is
crafting
that
himself. And
that
just that
of him learning everything, and everybody else is asleep, but he doesn't need to sleep.
Just the idea.
That's
of
what I thought
that.
was cool. Is like, what does the android do for 2 years?
Right,
when
exactly.
everyone else is sleeping. Yeah.
And so you start off loving David so much. He's so interesting that then to watch him make these choices that like. You start realizing he is the one who is making bad things happen, and you kind of not sympathize with him, but you feel bad for him because you feel like he doesn't have the cognizant
that's
choice.
What I was trying to say. My wife doesn't agree with me.
The free will to actually know what he's doing.
Mic to my wife, and why do you not agree with me, Laura?
I completely disagree with you. I think he gets it completely, and everyone takes for granted that they think he doesn't get it. Like when David and the douche guy
I kind
are
of agree
sitting
with
at
you,
the table, and David has a crush on his girl, and he wants his girl, and he says something like, well, good thing you can't be disappointed.
He has a crush
and then,
on his girlfriend. I didn't.
Yeah,
that.
he watched her, and he watched her, and he watched her dreams.
My wife's
and then
smarter than me.
the boyfriend mentioned something like, well, good thing you don't have the capacity to be disappointed, and that's when David infected him.
Because he gets upset
because no one else. People take for granted that he doesn't get it and trust him too much when he knows exactly what he's doing. He understands human emotion. They just
look at my wife just blow my mind that she understood a movie more than me. Good job, honey.
You just made me love that movie more. Holy shit, he was in love with her the whole time. Because I assumed he was.
I have to watch the movie again now.
I assumed he was watching everyone sleep. I did. I just figured he's watching everybody sleep.
He's trying to learn.
That's
knowledge.
really creepy. Exactly. Yeah. And then you're totally
Did you
right.
pick that up too, Brad?
Because
I didn't pick up the love part, but I figured when her douchey boyfriend was talking down to him while he was drunk, that once he said, what was the line or something that just you don't see it on Michael Fassbender's face, but you know that.
When David asked, well, why do you think my creators created me? And the douche said, because they could. And David said something along the lines
do you know how
disappointing that is? And the douche guy was like, well, you don't have the capacity to be disappointed.
Yeah, I think that's when he's like, okay, I'm going to infect this guy. Like, I want to infect somebody, but he just earned it by saying that to me.
Oh, man.
So, but yeah, the whole sleeping.
That just blew my mind and gave that movie just a whole new level of complexity.
It gives that whole relationship more of a complexity, too, because I realize that.
Then why was he keep on calling her at the end of the movie?
Well, no, I mean because she is the one out of all of them he would be the most fascinated with, because she, they draw this weird and very interesting binary between faith and science, and in fact, sort of parallel the two of them in this movie, because where they sort of posit that science has become fairly, the winner, if you will, that. The like Darwinism is the new idea, and these guys who are following science in a lot of ways are scientists are the crazy people. They're the new believers, if you will. And it would make sense that David would be the most fascinated by her, because she is on one hand like him, where everything is about rules and science and everything, but also has this soul kind of an idea to her. Yeah, oh man, I love this movie. Yeah, and that line about, do you have any idea how disappointing it would be to hear that from your God? It was just, I love Damon Lindelof so much.
So yeah, good job, Lori.
Yeah,
I'm proud of you.
absolutely. I never forget. I never saw that because
Neither did
I was probably because I was so enwrapped
in a way, I'm kind of embarrassed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's so obvious now. Well, because I was waiting for there to be something popping out of somebody's chest.
And see, I just took it the other way, that he didn't know what he was doing. He was just following orders from the old Wayland guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Guy Pearce, who didn't look like Guy Pearce at all.
Why did he have to wear, like, why did they get Guy Pearce to wear makeup? Why didn't they just find an old guy? Like, granted, Guy Pearce does an amazing job acting as an old man.
Yeah,
that's probably why.
I think that's why.
Well, that, and I guess he still
looked like he was in makeup. So
yeah,
it's like,
I mean, the action parts, though,
actor?
I guess you'd have to still cast a accomplished actor.
Hero Tool's still alive.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. And in fact, how cool would that have been? Oh,
Sweet, I just became a producer.
Yeah. I agree with you that they could have gotten somebody instead of Guy Pearce to do it, because out of all of the effects in the movie, that is the one that kind of bothered me a little. But having him on the ship, man, that was cool.
Yeah. So the movie's really cool, by the way. And now I have to see it again because my wife just blew my mind.
Yeah, exactly. Man.
No, there's the fascinating part to me, too, about the movie is how much do you explore, and is it really worth it to explore those certain things?
Yeah.
And it kind of, it's the science and, the God thing. If you explore and you find out the answer to what you're looking for, is that better or is it worse? Because in the Alien movie, it's definitely worse.
It's actually very much... I would love to sit down and watch this movie right next to Sunshine, not just because there is an actor that links the two movies, but because they are both movies about the dangers of trying to touch your God. And it's so good, man. Every time that there is a line about that, it's just it makes this movie feel so much deeper than even Alien. Like, certainly better than any of the Alien sequels. But even Alien, like, at the end of the day, Alien is just they get somewhere and some weird shit happens. But this movie is trying to at least have things that you can think about when they're over. And in fact, all you can do is think about stuff when it's over, because there are no answers in this movie. You never find out what the black ooze is, what were the worms, how do the things work, because it doesn't matter. In fact, if you did, part of what made Alien so scary when it happened was that because it was all based on that H.R. Geiger stuff, it was so inhuman. It was stuff we couldn't wrap our heads around, that if they had tried to explain things, much sort of in the way that some of the sequels even do, it takes the edge off. It's like The Thing. What makes The Thing so disturbing is that we can't figure it out. And if in this movie they tried to explain through some weird made up science what any of this stuff that was going on really was, it would diminish.
Like when you have the Force, and then you try to explain that it's based on midichlorians and
exactly.
You know what? Yeah, with this movie though, one of my favorite things too is all the kind of the winks to Alien and subtle. I mean, when the weapons of mass destruction that the aliens that were going to unleash on Earth, I mean, those were like the face hugger pods.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And but obviously the scientific version, so when that giant face hugger at the end jumps on the alien guy, they're able to evolve into the xenomorphs to make it smaller and more effective, because, I mean, that big thing couldn't go anywhere. So now that the xenomorphs can impregnate them with their mouth, and I just thought it was really interesting.
Yeah.
The little clever wings. And I didn't even think about it, but it also ties in Alien vs. Predator. Does anyone remember that in Alien vs. Predator, Lance Henriksen's character, Henriksen goes to the Antarctica because he thinks he can find everlasting life in a pyramid built by ancient civilizations.
Oh, goodness. I really don't want to tie that into the canon.
I mean, it's a very loose one, but I mean, it kind of is the same thing, where, that Wayland in that one was looking for a way to not die, and he was doing the same thing in Alien vs. Predator.
One of the things that is...
do you think Damon Lindelof watched it? He's like, I'm going to put that in this movie, too.
I'm gonna make a movie that makes Alien vs. Predator seem really cool.
Thanks, Paul W.S. Anderson.
I actually, one of my favorite things about this movie is that all of the nods to Alien are so subtle, with the exception, spoilers, of the very last one, where a thing that is clearly a proto-xenomorph comes out of the dude's chest.
But you almost kind of knew
everything
that
else
was going to
is so
happen, though.
Yeah.
Because even when she had the surgery to take out the thing that was impregnated in her, you could kind of see the.
At first, it looks like a xenomorph. At first, I was like, "Holy crap! There is a chest burster inside of her."
But then when it came and hit the alien, I mean, it was just a giant face hugger, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, but it had a nice kind of subtle step because the first monsters that attacked him kind of even had the same mouth and.
Yeah, they open up the same way and things like that.
So it was kind of interesting.
Even in, especially in some of the themes and things like that, like I said about, having to deal with the corporation and this idea that they are running everything. The subtle little thing in there to have, first of all, the mistrust of androids in general. This idea that they look human and we made them look human so we would trust them, but we can't trust them because they are going to turn on us and they are working for the man. All of that, and then the fact that David calls what's her name, Vargas, Charlize Theron, he calls her mom, very much in a reminiscent way of calling the ship mother or father in the fourth one. But all that kind of stuff. The fact that they don't just do it and make you feel like, oh, it's the same universe. Like, no, it's close. It feels the same, but it is its own thing, and yet very much.
I love your idea for the second one, where you have a chick searching for the aliens to find them.
It's a chick really cool. And her robot head in an alien spaceship flying around space. Right? Like, that is the coolest idea for a space adventure. Like, it's a 50s pulp novel, and you can even see the cover. Like, it looks like those books that my dad was reading 20 years ago. Like, man, what an awesome original idea for another movie. Like, I would want to see that more than I would ever want to see another movie with an alien in it.
Well, the next one they'll probably want to put aliens.
Yeah, they'll find a way to get a xenomorph in there, and they'll fuck it up because Damon Lindelof will be off making a TV show.
Or maybe look at the same exact guys. I read an interview with Ridley Scott, and he said he would make a sequel to Prometheus.
Yeah, my fingers are very much crossed for that because, man, this was so good.
And you hope it just makes enough money where,
I think
it'll fast track it.
I think it will.
I think it will too.
Yeah, because they got to do it before Ridley Scott dies.
Hey,
I know. I said it so that it doesn't happen. I said it so it doesn't happen.
Well, if he does, James Cameron might do the sequel.
God damn it!
No! He's only doing Avatar movies.
You saw that poster, didn't you, for Prometheus's?
I didn't.
Man.
I didn't just make that up.
No. I've seen it on the internet already. Yeah, Prometheus's. What a horrible title. This time the dialogue sucks.
So yeah, you should go see Prometheus because it's really good.
Oh,
and it got better after my wife explained it to me.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it again because, man.
So next week's a big deal for us, guys. Next week we'll be at Denver Comic Con.
Oh, okay.
June 15th, 16th, and 17th at the Colorado Convention Center in downtown Denver. You should stop by and see us because we are going to be running some contests and we're going to give away free swag. And you can sit down and hear yourself on our podcast. And we'll also be doing panels and interviewing, hopefully, some talent around there.
We're going to be doing all that stuff.
We're going to be doing lots of stuff, so make sure you stop by.
And we'll still be seeing a movie. I think we're going to try to see Jersey Shore Shark Attack. Right?
Oh, Jersey Shore Shark Attack, yeah.
Jersey Shore Shark Attack, I think, airs on Sci-Fi sometime next week. So we'll have to watch that and review it.
Absolutely, but actually we will be seeing, I'll be seeing it. I don't know if you guys are going to come along. Rock of Ages, and That's My Boy.
I want to see Rock of Ages.
Cool.
I'll see both of those with you.
Thanks, Brad.
Damn it. Well, if I'm off work, I guess I'll drag myself to.
You are off work. You have the whole weekend off.
Yeah.
Lawyered. So you can email us, realnerds@gmail.com. You can tweet us, real_nerds. You can like us on Facebook. You can call us at
720-663-7375.
Thank you. And you can also listen to us on iTunes and download us for free. What am I forgetting? I think I got everything. Oh, you can go to our website, realnerdspodcast.com. Make sure you see us at Denver Comic Con.
Yeah, dude.
Because you can finally put a face to the amazing voice that you have ear-fucking you right now.
Yeah,
I did that. I brought that back from the beginning when you said it. Actually, I said it because you were talking about it. And now I just ended the show with ear-fucking.
I wasn't kidding. Jersey Shore Shark Attack is a real movie.
I know. I'm looking at your IMDb page you have open.
From the man who brought you Chupacabra Terror.
Hey, see you at Denver Comic Con.